and you go to seek to ensure that the revenues of government are. These are things, when you have tightened all the leakages and waste, you'll be able to increase your position and you negotiate and be able to service them. Let me just give you an example. Nigeria.
Well, fellow Nigerians, greetings to you all, and I'm glad to welcome you to this edition of the Comrade Show. And of course, the big news out there today is Peter Obi at the CHATHAM House. Yes, Peter Obi today engaged the Nigerian communities and of course, friends of Nigeria and of course, the leaders of this world on his vision for Nigeria if and when he becomes the president of Nigeria in the election that's going to take place just in a few, days, a few weeks from now. I can tell you that Peter Obi's engagement in London today is the big news. It's part of what is making the round that the whole world is talking about right now. And then I feel things that I have identified, and I wish to share some of these things with you. Don't go away. It is the Comrade Show, and of course, this edition promises to be very interesting. Don't forget, share if you could. We appreciate that. God bless you.
This is the Comrade Show. This is the Comrade Show.
Yes, my people, it's the Comrade Show. And yes, my name remains Comrade Lamte Ikmawosa Oriahe Peter Obi at the CHATHAM House. And I've looked at this and I've termed this particular edition, I call it the Obi we know, and the Nigerian we are yet to know. Yeah, that is quite instructive. The Obi we know, we know Obi's trajectory. We know, lots of what he's been promising, and of course, it keeps speaking to what we don't yet know is the outlook of a new Nigeria. Of course, we can only imagine what that new Nigeria will be. But each time Obi opens his mouth to speak, we are further encouraged. We are further energized. We are further hopeful. As a matter of fact, I borrow, the title of the book of former President Obama of the United States, The Audacity of Hope. Obi right now, in his disposition, in his expression, in his everything, is of course giving us that audacity as Nigerians to hope that yes, there can be a Nigerian dream. There can be a new Nigeria that will be a Nigeria that will be fit for purpose for all Nigerians. Today, I couldn't go to London. I was invited actually. As a matter of fact, as I speak tonight, friends of mine are, having that dinner organized in honor of Peter Obi right now in London, and I'm glad they are there representing the Comrade Show. Yes, as part of that representation, some of our team members of the Comrade Show were there today at CHATHAM House, and of course, on Obi's arrival, they were there, and of course, a mammoth number of Nigerians came out to greet Peter Obi right at the very entrance of the CHATHAM House, and of course, that is where Obi started the engagement. I have actually queried CHATHAM House. Why will Obi follow the footsteps of these other political leaders that have been visiting CHATHAM House? And of course, Obi provided some response, and I think I find it quite instructive. Let's watch. That's massive love for Peter Obi right there. But let's listen to him.
Believe in you guys. I think he wants to talk. He wants to talk. Let him talk.
Let me first thank most sincerely thank all of you for the family. Let me most sincerely thank all of you for being here today. We just came on invitation of the Chatham House, and people always say, why Chatham House? This particular institution has become sort of our engaging the world to show what we intend to offer. And to you in particular, what we say that the government we want to do requires sacrifice of all of us. We must build a better Nigeria. Because we want Nigeria where everyone and each of you will be proud to hold your green passport. Yes. So that if you have a problem, the Nigerian High Commission and Nigerian embassies will deal with it. Nigeria where you are treated as the number in the world. We belong to this world, and we will show that Nigeria is a great country.
That is why I came to Chatham House.
Well, Nigerians right there, very happy. The approval rating of Obi is very high. His support is, massive. Everybody is calling for the presidency of Obi, as far as 2023 presidential election is concerned. And of course, he spoke to why Chatham House is strategic. Because it's not just a question of addressing Nigerians, but of course, letting the world know that Nigeria is ready, to play her role as the leader of Africa, and of course, to sit at that table, with world leaders to provide solutions to global issues. And of course, he's ready, to be in the saddle to steer Nigeria in that direction. Now, Obi, in this particular encounter, in this engagement at the Chatham House, yet again displayed, if you may, another act of stinginess. Obi again displayed how constructively stingy he is and would be as commander-in-chief. At Chatham House, I try to observe, some of those things, that we will call, errors or mistakes and all of that. And the only error I find is that Obi again display high propensity to be stingy, but to be responsible. And what Obi did at Chatham House was that Obi did not delegate any of the questions he was asked to anybody. He vying to become the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, vying to become the president of Nigeria, answered all the questions thrown at him without delegating anyone to anybody, because he is ready to take responsibility. As a matter of fact, he was on the hot seat with some of the questions asked. But I'm particularly interested in some part of this. Obi spoke to the issue of Biafra, and I thought it was a trap. Let's take a listen to how Obi handled the question on Biafra. Let's start from there.
You're not following me. Even yesterday, I spoke about Biafra being ended 53 years ago. It's all over the place in the space. I condemn all agitators, but in condemning them, you have to look at what brought about these agitations all over the place. It's not only IPOB. We have Yoruba Nation movement. We have all sorts. When you have created this level of massive poverty, where 63% of your population is poor, you're going to create all sorts of problems. I was speaking to a British minister this morning. I said we have about 40% unemployment. And we have about 60% youth unemployment. Young people in their productive age doing nothing. If you have 15% unemployment in Britain today, you're going to have massive, remember, agitation. Nobody will be able to leave his house. So what you have seen is a cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years, which will be solved by good governance. When people start seeing justice, fairness, and inclusive government and doing the right thing, all those things will start reversing itself. You're not following me.
Look, I am honestly, you know, each time I listen to this man, I am committed to continue to work to ensure that Obi becomes president, you know, without being weary, because he speaks to hope. Now, in his response to the issue of Biafra, we could understand very clearly, you know, that this is a man who's ready to unite this country. It's a man who's ready, you know, to drive unity and love in this country, to create that sense of citizenship, to create that sense of oneness in a country, you know, that can possibly have a creed that will be called the Nigerian promise, the Nigerian dream, that will be a Nigeria fit for purpose for every Nigerian. He is not going to be president of the Igbo Nigerians, or president of the Yoruba Nigerians, or president of the Hausa Nigerians, or president of the Fulani Nigerians, but this man is displaying that he is going to be the president of the united people of the Nigerian state. What can we say than to ask Nigerians to massively redouble their commitment to ensure that Obi become president of Nigeria? Because this is the real audacity of hope. But let us listen to Peter Obi on some other points. In a few minutes, we shall be back. Don't go away. Share the broadcast if you could. God bless.
First question is, how do you deal with the legislators, considering that Labour Party is probably not in control of the legislative arm of the government? Quite frankly, I've been through this as a governor. When I was elected and sworn in as the governor, I have 30 House members, not from my party. In fact, nobody from my party was involved. As long as you are pursuing what is right, everybody will go with you, because the legislator is insecure in his place. He knows that his people are without job, and that's what he wants. He wants development. What else is he elected to do? It becomes a problem when you are pursuing transactional policies, which will benefit you, or you're engaging in nepotism where you have to. But if you address it by strictly following the Constitution, which spells out that the system is characterized by simply that will have diversity and all is included, and you did the right things, you don't need to worry about that. On the issue of IPOB, maybe you're not following me. Even yesterday, I spoke about Biafra being ended 53 years ago. It's all over the place in this space. I condemn all agitators, but in condemning them, you have to look at what brought about these agitations all over the place. It's not only IPOB. We have Yoruba Nation movement. We have all sorts. When you have created this level of massive poverty, where 63% of your population is poor, you're going to create all sorts of problems. I was speaking to a British minister this morning. I said we have about 40% unemployment. And we have about 60% youth unemployment. Young people in their productive age doing nothing. If you have 15% unemployment in Britain today, you're going to have massive, remember, agitation. Nobody will be able to leave his house. So what you're seeing is a cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years, which will be solved by good governance. When people start seeing justice, fairness, and inclusive government and doing the right thing, all those things will start reversing itself. And that is what me and that is offering. I will talk and discuss with all agitators. There's nothing wrong in that. People agitate even in my house, and I talk with them. So I'll deal with everybody. I'll show you of that. Don't worry about that. On the issue of health, yes, we have a problem with health. We have underinvested, and because our government have not prioritized our development agenda, everybody knows that the only measure of development that is recognized globally today is Human Development Index. And this is hinged on 3 items: life expectancy, which is health. And we are low in that. Nigerian life expectancy today is about 50-something, as against the global average of 72. So we're low. Same in education. So it's to prioritize that. I just gave somebody an example. In the past 5 years, from 2015 to 2021, Nigerian budget in health is under 2.5 trillion naira for 200 million people. It's unacceptable. Even this year, our budget for health is about 1.5 trillion. Our budget for education is about 2 trillion. 2 of them combined, annual budget is about 3.5 trillion. When your 6-month budget for subsidy, which is a criminalized, listen, if 3.6 trillion is unacceptable. You have to put money in key development areas, as Professor Dutton has just mentioned, and I read out here, that what separates country, rich and poor, is health and education. So it's clear. So we will deal with it. But he said, how do you cover it? Nations of our size have covered it. How did India, for 1.4 billion people, cover issue of health? How did Indonesia cover that? We have big nations that have done it well. If we don't know how to do it, we learn from them. There's nothing wrong in learning if you don't know how to do it.
You know, we cannot take anything away from Peter Obi, you know, to be very honest. This interview, I will encourage everybody. I think we're going to post the entire interview series, you know, on the Comrade Show platform so that people can actually, you know, watch. You know, it's important so that we can begin to... the reason why it's important is it's not just because this is instilling confidence, hope in all of us, or it's because these are his statements right now. They are documents that we are going to hold him to account to. You know, that he made this promise, he made that promise when it's time. And of course, he himself has spoken to that severally, that everything I'm saying, hold me to account to all of them and all of that. So it is good we know so that we can be reminded, you know, when it's time. And tick the boxes. As Nigeria gets working under Peter Gregory, we should be looking back to the things, you know, he's actually saying today, to say he has done this, he has done this, he has done this, he's here to do this, he's here to do that, so that we can further remind his government, you know, and all of that. But most importantly right now is our conviction that Peter Obi is the man to become the next president of Nigeria. As a matter of fact, you know, he did summarize this in a very powerful way. You know, he's still in this Chatham's engagement, and I was very, very impressed. And as a matter of fact, he spoke to, you know, what really the situation is right now. You know, and I like to play this summary, which I find quite powerful, enriching, and of course, it's the crux of the matter.
There's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time have come. The time today is to have competent leadership with character, commitment, and compassion. That's what Nigeria is yearning for. That's what Dati and I are offering you. Let's have opportunity to build a better Nigeria. Thank you.
There is nothing more powerful than idea which time has come. Nigeria has had a very long period of wallowing in retrogression, in socio-political subjugation, in backwardness, in failures of different colors and different kinds. It is time for us to wake up. And it is increasingly looking like the time is now. And nothing, no force on earth is more powerful than this time that has come. Honestly, Peter Obi, a few weeks ago, in line with all of this, released a statement urging Nigerians to ensure that come what may, they get their PVCs to determine this election. Let's take a listen.
I appeal to Nigerians to endeavor to collect your PVC. The collection ends on the 22nd of January 2023. This election is a critical, existential election for Nigeria, and all of us must endeavor to vote, elders and youth alike. I appeal to Nigerians.
Apparently, all of us must endeavor to vote, particularly as young people, is very important. And of course, an amendment or addendum to that is that we are hearing that INEC would extend the collection of PVC beyond the previous dates. I cannot tell exactly when the extension is going to last till, but we are hoping that it will be a lot. People have actually advocate that PVC should be collected even till days before the election and all of that, since they are already prepared. So that's because we are still having crisis, with people not being able to collect their PVCs and some issues here and there, and that is going to determine a lot in this election. So Nigerians, it's been my own outlook on Obi's engagement at the Chatham House, and of course I have titled this "The Peter Obi We Know and the Nigeria We Are Hoping to Know." I must give kudos to my team members of the Comrade Show team, the Comrade and friends who are on ground right now in London. They are having dinner right now with Peter Gregory Obi, and of course kudos to them because they were at Chatham House. From there, some of these videos came from them directly. Dr. Agbons really did a lot of job right there. That's Dr. Agbons there. He even snapped this photo right there, at the podium, the Chatham House podium, where Obi spoke today. Of course, I have Dr. Loretta is there as well, a member of the commercial team. You could see her there with Professor Patu Tomi, our own grandmaster, and of course some other colleagues and friends of the Comrade Show and very core members of the Peter Obi campaign team. Yes, so Nigerians, so it's been, my name is Comrade Lamte Oriaki. I just thought I just give some insight into these engagements with Peter Gregory Obi, and of course Nigerians and the international communities. It's been very wonderful. Thank you very much for joining me. If you could, please share the broadcast. Let's keep spreading the good news. That could just be our own way of contributing to giving birth to the expected new Nigeria that we are hoping to know. God bless you. I'm signing out now. See you when I see you.
Are you a business owner? Do you make your own products? This is your best opportunity ever. Register your brand now with the first and largest marketplace promoting Nigerian-made products. Get access to over 17 million shoppers and customers currently in need of your products. Download on Google Play Store now to register or visit ekioja.com. Focus on creating your passion. Leave the marketing to us.
Comrade Show with Comrade Lamte Oriaki. This is the Comrade Show.